welcome to You Make the Difference. I'm Wanda Walker, and today we're talking to Becca Allen, who is the director for the Sweetland Amphitheater. Welcome to the show, Becca.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Wanda.
Yes, let's just start by telling a little bit about your background and who you are.
Okay.
Because I know you came from Florida and not originally from LaGrange, so tell us how you got here and all about yourself.
Okay. I grew up in Sarasota, Florida, and I met my husband in college. We both went to Emory in Atlanta, and he is from LaGrange. And so we had spent a number of years in Atlanta and Miami, and about 7 years ago, he went out on his own and started his own business. So we could really kind of do it from everywhere. And we moved back to LaGrange, actually as sort of a temporary move. And, you know, 1 year, at this point we had 3 children, so 3 small children. Had lived life in the big cities with 3 small children and know what that entails. And so, you know, 1 year turned to 2 years, turned to 3 years. Then it sort of, we were like, why are we fighting this?
Right.
Went on to make some great friends and decided to make it our home.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Yes, and so business-wise,
Right.
what is your background?
It's certainly not in amphitheater management.
Okay.
As one might imagine, I don't have that on my resume, but I do now. So my world and my background was marketing. So I'd worked for the Atlanta Committee for the Olympic Games. So I worked for the Olympics right out of college. I worked for Nike doing sports marketing. Did the agency world for a while when I was in Atlanta as well. So really marketing and public relations was kind of where I came from and where, you know, the whole project management aspect of that. So that was really kind of my forte. I did do a stint, my hobby at the time as well was photography, and so I did a good bit of that, and that, you know, when I had my 3rd child, and we moved to Miami, I started a photography business. And so I did that for a number of years as well, and then moved that here to LaGrange. So a lot of people know me from that former world. So I went from marketing to photography, and then boom, I'm now overseeing an amphitheater. So, but really what the nature of what I'm doing now is basically marketing a product.
Right.
And all the project management that goes with, you know, just sort of getting a business up and running, so.
Yes, well, I know Bobby Carmichael, I heard him say he was just really excited about you being the director of the Sweetland Amphitheater. So I know that people in LaGrange will see how well that the amphitheater has come together and what you brought to LaGrange, and we really appreciate it.
It's a great job.
I'd like to hear kind of like the vision for the Sweetland Amphitheater, how it evolved.
Well, and I think most people are familiar with that property and what it was in the 30s. It was land that was donated by the Callaway Foundation, and it became City Park. So for forever and ever, it was City Park. That included the pool, and then it went on to include practice fields for both baseball and football. What's been particularly fun about this, and we'll go back to kind of the vision, but it's the number of generations that I've toured and spoken to that have had so many different experiences there has been pretty special. But so it started out as that, and then as most folks know, that it basically became unusable. It became run down, and it really presented gee, what are we going to do with this space? The conditions by which the land was donated was that it always needed to be used for public purposes and public enjoyment. So it was going to have to become something that everyone could be a part of and enjoy. And so in 2006, conversations began, in particular at the Callaway Foundation, with some of the individuals over there about what this space could become. And so they started brainstorming about the idea of it being an amphitheater. And so for years, I mean, it was a number of years, because it wasn't until 2013 that it really, pen went to paper, and the vision of how it would become what it is today started to be formulated. So, and it was sort of a side note, and I don't know whether the two knew this of each other, but when I was speaking with Lynn Hawley, who is Annette Boyd, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a minute, about how it became Boyd Park, but when I was talking to her and we were down there and giving her a tour, it was very emotional for her because unbeknownst to myself or maybe even the folks at the foundation, her vision as well was that this space would ultimately become an amphitheater. So it's really a cool, who would have thunk it, right? Who would have thunk that LaGrange of all things, and not just an amphitheater, but an amphitheater to scale and quality and perfection that it is that we have. So
yes, it was meant to be, wasn't it?
it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Annette had it, and the Callaways had it.
That's right.
Yeah, they envisioned what it was.
Yes. No, it's true.
and it's beautiful, isn't it?
It is, and it really is and I don't want this point to be missed, but it's truly a testament of a public and private relationship. It was. The reason that this came about, of course, is the Callaway Foundation donated $6 million towards the project. The county donated $1 million, and the city an additional $1 million through tourism tax dollars. So it truly has been a beautiful partnership of different entities that are invested in making this a success. Bring it to reality. So it is, it's been a pleasure to work with all those parties to deliver what it is today.
Yes. Describe it for me.
So it's 11 acres.
Yes.
It's 11 acres, and it consists of, on the property you have the main pavilion, which is deemed the main gate pavilion. And what's beautiful about that is that they took great pains to restore that to its original glory, but then also add on to it. So in that main pavilion entrance, you have the box office. That'll be opened a couple hours before each performance and then 30 minutes into the show, but otherwise there won't be anything going on there. There's also a guest services window in there, and then underneath you'll have the concession stand. So that'll be one entrance point. Then you've got 40,000 square feet of what a great lawn, and I'll also take a minute to share accolades with the Smith Design Group, who is the architect who designed the amphitheater and did a phenomenal job on so many fronts. And they did the due diligence going into the project to tour around to a number of different facilities and basically talk with the people that designed it and had spent years running it and said, gleaned the best practices. So what about these venues were working and what wasn't? And we had the benefit of seeing sort of those end results. And so that great lawn, which is 40,000 square feet, has been wired and plumbed for electricity and water around the perimeter. So the idea being there that you could hold festivals and whatnot. And so there'd be a number of, as you had different concessionaires around it, they'd have access to water because a lot of people said, if the one thing when you have festivals is everybody wants access to water and electricity, otherwise there's generators and stuff like that. So you've got that, and then that great lawn will go into sort of a sloped area, which makes up our general admission seating for a concert. Below that, you have about 950 fixed stadium seats, and those make up two different tiers of our seating. We have premium, reserved, and reserved. In front of each of those, you've got this nice space that for some concerts you'll be able to bring some coolers in, some others you won't, so people just have to pay special attention to that. But and then down in the orchestra pit, you've got a nice pit area that you could dance or set up tables in and whatnot. And then this fabulous stage house, and that stage house is got also behind it, it's got two green rooms. Which every star, as you bring these big stars and big names in, they want, a place to relax before the show. So we have two green rooms with a star room in each of them. So we're outfitting those as well, in a production office. And then in the back corner, we have a VIP suite as well. And so that VIP suite will be open on concert days for VIPs. And it'll offer a cash bar and complimentary appetizers and whatnot for those.
Okay, and there's two ways to enter
the
park, right? Tell me about that. Which is the best way, or is there a certain time that you would enter one place and enter another?
No, I mean, so we have two entrances. We have the main gate, and another point to make is that the entire park is accessible. And so whether you're starting out at the very top at the West Pavilion or at the main gate and going down, or the West Gate, there's ramps throughout. So you can really get from the top all the way down to the bottom if you wanted. It might take you a little bit, but you can get there.
Takes you longer getting up.
It takes you longer getting up, that's for sure. So you've got the main gate pavilion, and that is really for folks that are parking off street. So the surrounding streets, oftentimes we get asked about parking because that's the number one. And we like to say that it's not a parking issue, it's a walking issue. Just like any concert that folks go to, it's par for the course that you have to be prepared to walk.
Right.
The bonus and the benefit that we have is that really the majority of the parking that we are providing is free. I mean, I can't remember the last time I went to a concert and had access to free parking.
Yes.
That's tremendous. I mean, it's about value and creating this experience we'll talk a lot about. But so you've got a wide variety of off-street parking, off Smith Street, but then we'll also have access to the government parking deck, which is up on Ridley towards the government center. That'll be open on concert days. So on our website, we have this whole parking page that goes into great detail about where to park. So if you were parked up on that area, you would use that main gate, in my mind. The other parking space that we have is a VIP parking lot. So when you pull into Sweetland, if you pull to the left, it circles around back. And there's 127 actually parking spaces down there, including 20 of which that are handicap accessible.
Okay.
So those you would buy a pass for to have access to, park in that section, and you buy those along at the same time you buy your tickets for an event. Or you can have the option for some people, if they, loading and unloading zones are located at the main gate, or if in special situations they can actually pull down into the VIP lot and load and unload there as well. So the other parking option for folks is we have cut in the back of that VIP lot. There's a cut through, if you will. So the other place that we're advertising, in addition to the government center parking lot, is the LaGrange High School.
Yes.
So you would park there, or McCluskey, or any of those spaces around, and then basically there'll be a police officer on most concert nights that will direct you, and signage that will direct you to the cut through. So you would just go up the ramp, and you'd be right in the Westgate parking lot. So.
Is that a new cut through? Or
it is. That was part of this project.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about why the name Sweetland was given to the amphitheater.
And that's a great story as well. So I think I think most folks are familiar with Annette and Jim Boyd, who were the founders of the Sweetland of Liberty parade, and so for decades they ran the Sweetland of Liberty parade, and I hate the fact that I didn't have the pleasure of meeting Annette Boyd, because it sounds like we would have, as Lynn would say, her daughter, we would have a great time together. So I hate that she was right. Yeah. So I've heard wonderful stories, and so in 2000 or in I believe it was 2004, the park was named after the Boyd, so it became Boyd Park.
Right.
And so when the whole naming process, and I'll give some recognition to Kelsey at Advertising, who's here in LaGrange. They have done a phenomenal job. While I might get a lot of the recognition, there are so many people behind the scenes that are helping to make this happen, and Kelsey is one of those tremendous assets that are making this happen. But they were tasked with not only naming Sweetland, but also doing all the branding and the look and feel for it. And so when they sat down, and I wasn't involved at this point, but when they sat down and tried to figure out what this needed to be called and what was the feel that they wanted this to have, I think a natural outcome was paying homage to what Boyd Park was, which at that point was, the start and the end of the Sweetland of Liberty parade. It felt right. And so from the Sweetland of Liberty parade came the name Sweetland Amphitheater. And then also, the look and feel spun out of that. So it's if you look at our branding and our signage and our logo, it's very Americana, it's very retro, it's very red, white, and blue.
Yes.
And we've received tremendous compliments. Our billboard that has, people see it from all over. kind of gives that feel. So yeah, so
Yes.
that's where it started from. And again, it's so much of there's so much history at this space. We wanted to recognize that and all the players that made it helped it become what it is today.
Yes. I hadn't made that connection with the red, white, and blue being
Yes.
with. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got an exciting series
Yes.
coming up this summer.
Yeah.
Tell us who's coming.
Yes. So oftentimes we're asked what's going to happen at Sweetland.
Right.
And in my research, what I've done is that most amphitheaters like our size, they'll run about 12 events a year. We may not run that many this year, baby steps.
Yes.
But first and foremost, we knew that we wanted to host a summer concert series. Our summer concert series will be made up of 6 shows. We'll start them in April and run them through September. So yes, we have 6 great acts. I think it was very important to us when we were looking at the talent, because right now we're trying to figure out what our recipe for success is, right? So is it, depending on the types of talent, the days of the week that it runs, how
Yes.
much those tickets are, we're kind of playing around with all different scenarios. So when we looked at this lineup, we wanted some to have, sort of more affordable. We wanted 2 that really kind of low price points that would allow everybody access. Different genres.
Yes.
So our April show is April 16th. It's a Saturday. That'll be we're kind of dubbing that our preview party. So that is going to be 2 bands out of Atlanta, and we're calling it 4 Decades of Music. So we'll do the 60s, 70s, 80s. We'll probably even throw in some 90s there. But it'll just be a great, fun, relaxed show. And really our hope is that we, have an opportunity to kind of work through the kinks. We ask everybody to be patient with us. This is our first party,
Right.
and we want to do it right, but know that there's going to be things that we have missed and whatnot. So that's our April show.
And do we know the names of those bands?
Oh yes, sorry. So it's Band X and members only, and again,
Okay.
those are 2 bands in Atlanta. And so one will come on and play the 60s and 70s. They'll go away. The next band will come on and play the 80s, and then the first band will come back out and play the 90s. So again, it'll be a fun
Yes.
sing out loud kind of night. Then our May show, which we're considering our grand opening. I think everybody knows by now, we're super excited to host Willie Nelson and Family.
Yes.
This will be the Sunday of Memorial Day, so May 29th. So it'll be Willie Nelson, and opening for him will be Cam, who is a Grammy-nominated artist. She was just actually a presenter at the Grammys this past year. Her song Burning House was up for a Grammy for Song of the Year, as well as, and then opening for her is a band called American Aquarium. So really 3 bands, 3
Yes.
phenomenal bands that will put on quite a show, and there'll be some surprises built into that show. So it'll just be a phenomenal evening. So that's our May show.
And tell me about the tickets for that show.
Yes.
How much are they going to cost?
Well, we just, and this will be for all shows. So before I go, so let me just say, for anybody that wants to know the latest and the greatest about Sweetland, if they haven't done so already, go to our website, which is www.sweetland.events, and sign up for our e-newsletter. So all you
Okay.
got to do is enter your email and answer a couple questions. That'll sign you up. You'll get a confirmation email sent to you. Click on it to confirm it, and from that point forward, you will know everything that you need to know about ticket releases, single ticket events that are happening, and whatnot. Last Friday, we just launched our pre-sale of season tickets to that
Right.
email list, right? So we have about 2,000 names on that list. So that was last Friday. By 4 o'clock that afternoon, we were sold out of all fixed seats.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've had a tremendous response.
And so how many seats was that?
That was close to 1,200 seats.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but the good news is there's still a tremendous inventory. There's a large inventory of lawn seats that are still available.
Yes.
There will also be a small inventory of single event tickets that go on sale in April 1st. So again, I tell folks to go on that, sign up for that e-newsletter. So the Wednesday before April 1st, we will send out a reminder that says, hey, small inventory of single tickets will be released on this day, and sort of like what I told folks for the Friday sale, you better be 10 o'clock on. I would be on the phone or on the computer, and they'll give you the links for both.
Yes. So how much will those tickets be?
For the single tickets, they vary. So we have 3 different prices of tickets, and it'll be listed on the website. But for instance, I think for Willie Nelson's show, I think it's $35 lawn. Oh my gosh, you're going to quiz me on this. $35 lawn, $55 for reserved, $65 for premium reserved. Don't quote me, but it's somewhere around there. But I mean, we have like our April show and our August show. I mean, lawn tickets are $15.
Yes.
So our lawn tickets are either $15, $30, or $25 or $35. So again, 3 different scenarios, 3 different price points. We've got a variety of different seating types. We have tables that seat 6 or terrace boxes that seat 6.
Yes. So it's according to who's coming.
Absolutely.
What the price is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the April show is the more affordable one. Willie, of course, is our tier 1 or most expensive.
Yes.
June will be the Temptations.
Yes.
So that's a Friday night. That's June 17th. So that'll be a tremendous show. We also have opening for them a group called Ruby Vell and the Soulphonics. They're from Atlanta. Great funk band. It's just super, super great. It'll be a lot of fun. The whole idea of also not only with some of these, more known acts is sort of the opportunity to introduce some up-and-coming acts as well.
Right.
So that'll be June 17th, and that's kind of like the middle tier priced shows. So that's June. July 3rd, that's a Sunday. Again, another holiday weekend on a Sunday, so we're trying this. Will be Charlie Daniels Band.
Yes.
Which will also be a lot. I hear he's phenomenal. I haven't had the pleasure of watching him in concert, but people are like, he never disappoints. So I think that'll be a great show. We're still working on his opener, but that'll be July 3rd. August 5th is a Saturday, and that'll be MJ Live. That's a Michael Jackson tribute show. It's the #1 tribute show. I think they're also running a show in Las Vegas right now, but that's the second in the series of the more affordably priced shows. But again, a lot of fun, a lot of, there's no holograms. It's actually a Michael Jackson, performer that's up there, and a lot of dance. It's a very showy show, so a lot of lights, a lot of backup singers and stuff like that. So, and then our September show is very exciting. I can't announce it yet. We'll announce that actually when single tickets become available on that April 1st show, we'll be able to actually announce who our September show is. But I think that'll be one that will get folks equally as excited. So, so it's a phenomenal lineup for a venue our size. To have that is second to none. So it's definitely, some of these acts were chosen intentionally because it gives it, it certainly turned a lot of heads, which is what we want.
Right.
It's important for us.
Sold a lot of tickets.
Sold a lot of tickets, number 1, right? Yeah, forget about turning heads. We need to sell tickets.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it was more so, I expected it to kind of be that, but it's important for us as a venue to create an experience for our patrons that come. I guess the good thing about having never run an amphitheater is that there's no right or wrong. I mean, there's definitely, there's some assumed rights and wrongs, but I think it gives you a little bit more creative freedom to, as long as it's cost prohibitive, to sort of introduce some new ideas, the new experiences to folks. So it's important to us to sort of create that not only for our patrons, but then the artists who play here. So how do you make your venue, despite its size, somewhere that people want to play at because you've got a responsive crowd, because the sound is phenomenal, because you're treated in a way that gets lost at some of these larger venues.
Right.
So, we're kind of like the mighty giant, the mighty mini giant. How do you overcome size to kind of be something that's special accordingly? So, yeah.
Yes. I want you to talk a minute about having LaGrange become a destination site. I remember talking to you about that in your office. Tell me your vision for that.
And I think that's some of the methodology behind, scheduling some of these on holiday weekends, right? So how do you create an occasion for which somebody to come come to LaGrange and spend time here beyond a day trip or whatnot. And so I think we have opportunity to do that not only in the summer concert series, but in some other things that we'll do there. But I mean, I think the more occasions that you create for folks to justify coming, and I think there's been studies done that, that depending on the distance traveled equates to how long they're willing to spend there. So,
Yes.
You sort of take that and you can, I think we are uniquely poised because we're within an hour distance, driving distance to so many, 10 cities surrounding our area that that we can pull from so many different, whether it's Noonan or Opelika or Columbus or Phoenix City or Fort Benning or, Carrollton. I mean, there's so many. We're sort of, we are poised and ready. And we have so much to offer with our proximity to downtown,
Right.
the lake, like how do we, you're here, stay, play, and see what we have to offer.
Yes, and I saw something happen like that in LaGrange that would have been a prime opportunity is when the artist did the painting of LaGrange versus LaGrange with the Nancy Hearts.
Oh, right.
He did the unveiling of that
yeah.
portrait, and the Legacy on Main had displays about the Nancy Hearts, and then there was a reenactment
So
at Bellevue.
Yeah.
And the First Baptist Church did a play.
Yeah.
So that would have been a full weekend.
Sure.
That people could have come and taken part in those things that were happening here. And so I look forward to that happening.
Well, good. I'm glad. We look forward to delivering. That's for sure.
Good. We have about 2 minutes left, and I want you to tell a little bit about the reactions of people when they came to the grand opening or the preview, open house. Yes.
I think it's it's such a hard venue to get into to see. You can kind of drive around it and your interest is piqued, but we've on purpose sort of blocked some of the access points. On purpose, and so when people for the first time got in there and saw it, I mean, they're just dumbfounded. Like to see it and enjoy it and appreciate it for all its glory. Once you're in it, it's state of the art, and it's second to none. And what's even more, we've got folks that are from Atlanta that have come in that are in this business, and they're blown away. And so that's what gets you excited. Like, I'm used to seeing it, I'm impressed, but like when you get people that are in this business that come here and are like, oh my gosh, you have no idea what you have. Like, you will. This is something special. So
yes, well, you've done an excellent job.
Thank you.
And we're looking
team effort.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to all the events that will be there, and looking forward to enjoying the Sweet Land Amphitheater.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. And thank you for watching You Make the Difference. And remember, you truly do.